Allow yourself to drift into tonight's warm and peaceful tale. The Night of All That Cool. This story is about a young man named Mach and an ant named Geranium who come together in an extraordinary night, discovering the true essence of awe and connection under an ancient tree. On the edge of the sprawling forest, where whispers of the night wind were as gentle as a mother-voice lullaby, lived a young man named Mach. His days were spent in quiet wonder as he explored every nook and cranny of the woods, marveling at the beauty of nature. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon painting the sky in hues of purple and gold, Mach found himself walking along a path he had never seen before. The path was lined with ancient trees whose branches intertwined, forming a canopy that seemed to pulse with its own heartbeat. Curious as cheek, Mach ventured deeper. Suddenly he heard a faint cry for help. Following the sound, he stumbled upon a small, intricate tunnel. Kneeling down, he peered inside and saw an ant trapped under a fallen leaf. Without hesitation, Mach gently lifted the leaf, freeing the ant. The ant, whose name was Geranium, looked up at Mach with gratitude shining in its tiny eyes. "Thank you," Geranium said, in a voice that was surprisingly clear. Mach was taken aback, both by the talking ant and the kindness that radiated from its words. "You're welcome," he replied, still in awe. "Where do you live, Mach?" asked the ant. Geranium tilted its head towards the depths of the forest. "I live in the heart of the forest, where the oldest tree stands." Intrigued, Mach asked if he could see this place. Geranium agreed and guided Mach through the winding paths, sharing tales of their world. They finally arrived at the ancient tree, its trunk vast and gnarled with roots like grand arms embracing the earth. The tree seemed to emanate a gentle, glowing energy. Under its canopy, Mach felt a profound sense of peace and connection. They sat down at the base of the tree, and Geranium began to tell the story of the tree as origins, how it had been planted by a celestial being to guard the wisdom of the forest. As the night grew deeper, the stars began to twinkle like millions of fireflies among the leaves. Mach and Geranium sat in serene silence, their hearts swelling with a shared sense of awe. At that moment, Mach realized that true wonder wasn't just in the vastness of the universe, but also in the tiny, often unnoticed details of life that shine brightly when viewed with open eyes and a compassionate heart. They returned to Mach's home just as the first light of dawn touched the edges of the horizon. Mach thanked Geranium humbly, realizing how deeply this night had changed him. From that day on, whenever Mach felt the weight of the world, he would close his eyes and remember the night of awe under the ancient tree, and it would bring him peace. The next story awaits, calm and peaceful. Shidar. This story is about the unity and love between a village named Euphorbia and a serene river called Tansy, who light the magic of togetherness through the seasons. Once upon a time, nestled in a verdant valley sat a quaint village known as Euphorbia, named after the vibrant and joyful flora that adorned its landscape. The village was surrounded by rolling hills painted in shades of emerald, and adorned with wild flowers that swayed with the whisper of the wind. Through this idyllic scene flowed a serene river named Tansy, whose gentle laughter could be heard by all who listened closely. Tansy's waters were crystal clear, reflecting the azure sky and the lush greenery on its banks. Euphorbia and Tansy had a special bond, a harmonious existence, where both the village and river thrived together in blissful symphony. In the heart of Euphorbia lived a kind-hearted woman named Alara, who was known for her unparalleled ability to nurture and grow the most remarkable gardens. Her hands, always tender and caring, transformed every seed she touched into a bloom of unimaginable beauty. Alara loved Tansy like a sister, often speaking to the river as she tended to her plants, believing that the river's laughter carried the magic that made her garden flourish. Every morning, Ala would walk to Tansy's edge, dipping her toes in the cool, refreshing water and sharing her dreams and hopes with the river. Tansy's gentle waves would reply with a soothing melody, a lullaby of encouragement and promise. The seasons changed, painting the landscape with their unique colors, and with each transition, the bond between Euphorbia and Tansy grew stronger. During the vibrant spring, Tansy's banks burst into a riot of color, mirroring the gardens Ala tended to. In summer brought long, lazy days where children would play in the river's shallows, their laughter mingling with Tansy's eternal giggles. Often painted the village in hues of gold and crimson, with leaves twirling in the crisp air before settling into Tansy's embrace. Winter's touch covered everything in a blanket of white, and even then, the river's gentle murmur was a comfort against the cold silence. On particularly harsh winter, the river began to freeze, its laughter turning into a soft whisper, a shadow of its former self. Ala, feeling the river's pain, resolved to visit Tansy daily, to share warmth and love, and to sprinkle her gardens with cheer in hopes of lifting Tansy's spirits. She would gather the children, and together they would sing songs and tell stories by the river bank, their voices cutting through the frosty air. Slowly, the ice began to retreat, and Tansy's laughter returned, brighter and more joyful than ever. The village of Euphorbia rejoiced, understanding that their unity and love had saved their beloved river. From that winter on, the bond between Euphorbia and Tansy was celebrated each year with a festival of lights, where the entire village came together to honor the river that brought them life and joy. The air would be filled with music, the sky with lanterns and hearts with gratitude. As the years went by, it became clear that the strength of Euphorbia and Tansy's bond lay in their togetherness, their unwavering support for one another through every season, every joy, and every challenge. And so, under the watchful eyes of the Stubby, the village and the river continued their dance, a timeless testament to the magic of unity and love. Let's wander softly into another story. The Playful Adventures of Dan and Anemone. This story is about the playful adventures of a young boy named Dan and a gentle dragon named Anemone, emphasizing the themes of exploration and friendship. Once upon a time, in a land far away, lived a young boy named Dan and a gentle dragon named Anemone. Their friendship was forged in the golden meadows where Dan would often play. One sunny morning, Dan decided to explore the enchanted forest near his village. Anemone, protective and curious, saw above, keeping an eye on his human friend. The forest was alive with magical whole trees whispered ancient secrets, and flowers glowed with an otherworldly light. As Dan wandered deeper, he stumbled upon a crystal-clear pond, surrounded by luminescent lilies. At that moment, Anemone landed gracefully beside him, her shimmering scales reflecting rainbows in the sunlight. "Let's play a game," Anemone suggested, her voice a soft, melodic hum. He nodded equally, his eyes sparkling with excitement. They decided on a race. Dan would run through the forest trail, while Anemone would glide above, timing their arrival at the old oak tree. The countdown began, and with a joyful cheer, they were off. Dan ran as fast as his legs could carry him, the wind whipping through his hair. Anemone flew up her wings, creating a gentle breeze and sending leaves swirling behind her. The forest seemed to join in on their fun, with animals peeking out to watch the playful spectacle. Reaching the oak tree almost simultaneously, they laughed and decided to play hide-and-seek next. Dan counted, covering his eyes with chubby fingers, while Anemone found the perfect spot high in the canopy, blending with the foliage. After what felt like an eternity, Dan found Anemone and they tumbled into laughter, enjoying each other's company. The day drifted into a twilight filled with hues of pink and purple. Dan and Anemone sat by the pond, dipping their toes and claws into the cool water. "Thank you for today," Dan said softly. Anemone looked at him with her deep, wise eyes and replied, "Every day with you is an adventure, dear friend." With that, they made their way back, the stars beginning to twinkle above. As they approached the village, Dan felt the warm sense of belonging. Anemone nudged him gently, and they shared a quiet moment of contentment, knowing that their playful adventures had only just begun. Let's drift softly into the next tale. Clover and Acalypha, a tale of renewal. This story is about Clover, a kind-hearted girl, and Acalypha, a raccoon, who find renewal through their friendship and inspire their village to come together. In a quaint, sunlit village nestled between rolling green hills, there lived a kind-hearted girl named Clover. She had bright eyes that sparkled like the morning dew, and an infectious laughter that could melt the coldest of hearts. Clover loved exploring the meadows, gathering wildflowers, and playing by the clear brook that ran through the village. One fine spring morning, she overheard rustling in the bushes by the brook. Carefully parting the branches, she discovered a small, frightened raccoon with tangled fur and sad eyes. Clover's heart melted instantly. "Oh there, little one," she said softly. The raccoon, whom she named Acalypha, took some convincing but eventually warmed up to her kindness. Over the days, Clover and Acalypha became inseparable. Clover learned that Acalypha had lost his family in a storm. She decided to build a cozy shelter for him near her home, where he could feel safe and loved. The villagers were initially wary of Acalypha, but soon they too began to appreciate the little raccoon's gentle nature. They helped Clover gather materials, and together they priced up a beautiful sanctuary for Acalypha. As the seasons changed, so did their bond. One autumn afternoon, Clover fell ill. Acalypha stayed by her side, bringing her little gifts of pine cones and leaves to cheer her up. His loyalty and warmth seemed to hasten her recovery. By winter, Clover was well again, and she marveled at the renewed strength of their friendship. The village, too, experienced a renewal. The bond between Clover and Acalypha inspired the villagers to come together and support one another, creating a sense of community that had been missing for years. The once divided village found unity in the compassion and love shared between a girl and her raccoon. When spring returned, Clover and Acalypha played in the now blooming meadows, the air filled with the fragrance of fresh flowers and the songs of birds. And they knew that no matter the hardships, their friendship would always bring a sense of renewal and hope. In their small village, the story of Clover and Acalypha became a beloved tale, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, kindness and friendship could light the way. Let tonight's feast guide you to restful sleep.